Okay, we go from the bottom of a rock to the top of the mountain with the latest from the 99 times out of 100 winning production company known as Disney Pixar with their latest film simply titled Up. And much like Wall-E, which came out last year, it creates a deep, thoughtful, and substantial story that really hits you, makes you think, and entertains you, and is good for people of all, and I mean literally all ages. Also, like many of the films of that this company has produced, it creates characters so real that even a live action film couldn't do them justice. Pixar could take the easy way out and just give us bright, colorful, beautiful looking computer animated films like they always do, just like this one, and give us nothing. No characters, no sophistication, no redeeming value. But they don't. They give us something because they want their movies to have a legacy and not be some box office flash in the pan. Because the Disney tradition of leaving a legacy behind is still very present in their Pixar films, which of course started with the brilliant Toy Story, which is still my favorite by the way, following with many films including A Bug's Life, Monsters Inc., The Incredibles, Finding Nemo, and of course last year's Wall-E. All those film all those films have every one of those traits. Some were better than others, but all were fantastic. And right off the front of this film, its dynamic of storytelling is so fantastic and sucked me right in the first few seconds, as their first few scenes hardly uses any dialogue, as we see the life of a couple by the name of Carl and Ellie, a very loving couple who's we see have a genuine love for each other by action, not forced contrived dialogue that even animated films could easily do. They both dream of being explorers, like their idol, Charles Muntz, a great explorer voiced by the ageless and seemingly always working Christopher Plummer. But when some of Muntz's mystical journeys are accused of being phony, he disappears never to be seen again, vowing never to come back until he brings back true, substantial proof. Anyway, after Ellie dies is where this film really focuses, as Carl is now a widower, almost in his 80s, and he's voiced by former 70s TV star Ed Asner, of course, best known as his role as Lou Grant for many years on Mary Tyler Moore and also on the TV show spin-off Lou Grant. And it's a terrific voiceover performance. And he lives not only on his own physically, but mentally as well, as he shuns himself from almost everything around him. However, one day, the disgruntled Carl just decides to fulfill his dream. He just wants to do it without leaving, but he also wants to do it without leaving the home and life that he and his wife built behind. He doesn't want to leave any of that behind. But his career as a balloon man pays off in a crazy way as he connects an endless number of helium balloons to his house and flies away hoping to journey and seek Paradise Falls, much like Muntz. But along the way, cranky old Carl comes across some pretty crazy obstacles, such as high strung young explorer Russell along for the ride in some very funny scenes. And when he hits Paradise Falls, without giving too much away, he does run into the seemingly forgotten Muntz. And the way these two animated characters play off each other with their different dynamics yet also very similar similarities, it was just so remarkable to watch. And it made me almost want to see Asner and Plummer would be like together in a live action film, but I was just so enamored by these characters that I almost forgot I was watching an animated film. That is how great it was. This isn't merely fun, hysterical action as well, but there is plenty of that in the scenes. Many of the scenes in Paradise Falls have some adventure to them, and they're very fun and enjoyable, and they're just fantastic to watch, and they're well made. But it's about these two men trying to find their identity, trying to discover the meaning of what their lives were all about. And while it sounds like a deep meaning that kids won't understand, they will still love this movie because of those elements. Sure, they may not understand it like we do in terms of its some of its dialogue, but what's going on will, in a certain way, make a lot of sense to them, much like many of Disney's movies made sense to me as a kid. This movie is nearly perfect in every way. As a matter of fact, I think it is. It's well made. It's funny. It's adventurous. It has an animated array of colorful and enjoyable characters that you can't help but get into, that you'll get lost in. This movie also, pardon the bad pun, built up and up and up and up, and when it came time for the payoff, I had the sense of satisfaction that I hadn't felt in a very long time seeing movies. This was better, even much better than Wall-E, which in itself was a fantastic film. And I sat there from beginning to end with a smile on my face, not being able to find not one single flaw, making up easily one of the year's best films. The perfect 5 stars out of 5.